Hey guys, and welcome to my first ever vlog. I decided to try vlogging for the first time, and we are going away, or we are currently at a 5-day getaway in Allgäu, which is an area near the Alps in Germany. So I'm doing this for the very first time and feeling very, very awkward doing so. But let's try it out and see how it goes. So we just drove down. It is now Wednesday, the 3rd of October, which is a public holiday here in Germany. We've just arrived here in the apartment, and it is freezing inside, so we've turned on the heating and are hoping it will warm up soon. I've got a big blanket here, so I'm just going to cuddle up and do some knitting. The weather is quite bad as usual when we are here, so we've already picked up some delicious cake for lunch from our favorite bakery, and I think we're just going to hole up in the apartment for a while, just hang out. I'm looking forward to do some knitting. So I thought I would show you what yarn I have brought with me besides my current whips, of which there are many, because I'm planning to do some new cast-ons, so I'll just show you what I'm possibly planning on making. This is the apartment that we stay out at quite often. I'm currently sat on the couch, which is the best part. There's an open fireplace. You get the idea. Stuff everywhere because we just arrived. I'm sorry about that. But what I was going to show you is the yarn that I brought. So I have all my whips, but I'm planning to do some new cast-ons. So first up, I brought a skein of yarn to knit some socks for Kai. This is just a merino nylon sock yarn by Tausendschön, which is a German brand that I used to knit quite a lot with in the past. The colorway, let's see, is a Widder, which is apparently from their astronomical science range. I picked this up in Munich in the beginning of the year, and these are going to be some really fun socks. I think they should pull, which I think Kai will like. I also caked up this morning a skein of my handspun that I just recently finished and showed you on the podcast. This is a merino nylon 3-ply or chain ply that I spun up very recently. The fiber is from Das Mondschaf, and I really can't wait to knit with this and see how it knits up. Next up, I threw in a skein of commercial sock yarn because, you know, I like to knit socks, so I threw in this Rainbow Regia Perfect skein, which I think that should be really fun to knit up. I wasn't really sure what I would be in the mood for in terms of my knitting, so I just brought a variety, and I like to bring things that I don't have to cake up. So if I don't end up using it, I can just put it back into stash and don't need to reskein or anything. And then I also decided I recently finished a pair of fingerless mittens, and I like to do some more colorwork mittens, and these are all yarns that have been in stash for a while. So this is it's a singles yarn, but I really just want to knit some maybe fingerless gloves, maybe the pumpkin spice mittens again. So I just threw this in as well. And then because I was worried I might run out of yarn, I also threw in these 3 skeins. These are all 50-gram skeins. And you can see my color palette is very similar most of the time. And these again, I think I could do some fun color work mittens in. This is also commercial yarn from Lana Grossa, Alpaca Peru 200. So this is another fingering weight alpaca, and I think, oh, it's a 100% alpaca blend, so that's not perfect for mittens. But I just want to get this stuff out of stash, and I think it'll be a very fun knit. I actually purchased this when I was here quite a while ago. I was going to use this for a design, but right now I just don't have time for designing. So I think if I get around to knitting it, I could knit some fun color work mittens, either with these 2, which is essentially the same color work combination as this one, or I could play around. I don't really know what I'm doing with these yet. I just thought I would take them just in case, and we will see what happens. I also just took a bunch of needles, mostly sock needles, which I could also use for fingering weight mittens if I want to. And then I took one of these cases, of which I have a couple, which just have the essentials in them. So there's a measuring tape, there's a darning needle, there are a couple of stitch markers, and this big tin is full of my bulb stitch markers, which I just take wherever I go because they are my favorite kind of stitch markers. So I think I'm pretty set to do some knitting. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do first. I think I want to cast on this magic tweed yarn. I think that's going to be my first thing that I might cast on. There's a couple of fingering weight mitten patterns already in my library that I would want to knit. I especially want to re-knit the pumpkin spice mittens by Ellie of Scandia, because I knit them last year and then I lost the first one, which was so sad. So that's one thing I definitely want to re-knit, and there are so many fingering weight mittens that I would like to knit anyways, so I think that should be quite easy to get started, and that should be a fun, quick project. Besides that, of course, I've brought my 2 sweaters that I'm working on, as well as a pair of socks. I have some tea next to me, just some Assam black tea, which I'm probably going to put some soy milk in a second. And I think that is it for now. So we'll see how we get on. I desperately need to find more woolen sweaters because I'm freezing right now, but that should improve pretty soon. So that's it for now, and I will check in with you later. So I'm checking in again. It is currently 10:20 in the evening, and we've had a pretty uneventful first day here. It basically rained and was quite stormy the whole day, so we just stayed in the apartment, and guess what I did, you guys? I just spent pretty much the entire time knitting, and I have finished a mitten. So I was showing you this yarn earlier, and I decided to actually go ahead and cast on for the second time the Pumpkin Spice Mittens by Ellie of Scandia. I've knit these before and then lost one of them, so I did cast them on again. In terms of modifications, I did a slightly shorter ribbing, which all of the details can be found in my show notes and my project pages on Ravelry. And then I knit the mitten according to plan, except I made them fingerless, so I stopped after row 40 and did some 2x2 rib up here as well as on the thumb. And this thing is done. This is my first mitten, and I think it turned out really, really well. To be honest, this tweed singles yarn is not ideal for color work. I think that I knew that going in. but it's a really cozy, comfy mitten and I'm really happy with it, and it went really fast. So the first one is done. I've actually sewn in the ends. I haven't blocked it though. And I've just cast on the second one. I'm not planning to work on it anymore tonight. But I do like to get like second socks and second mittens and things cast on, so then I will actually work on them much more than if I still have that sort of having to cast on, make that first row barrier in my head. So that's pretty much all the knitting I've done today. I'm a little bit over colorwork mittens, so I think what I'm going to do now is work on the hem of my Damiaca Lopa sweater, or maybe just pick up a sock or something like that. Besides that, I have nothing very interesting to report. We went out for dinner. We had some lovely traditional German dinner, which was quite hefty, but also really, really nice. And yeah, we're just having an easy night in. It is pitch black outside, obviously, which is why the lighting in here isn't great. But I just wanted to say hello to you really quickly, and then I will be back tomorrow.